Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football on TexasFootball.com here in San Antonio at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention, joined by the head coach of the Tioga Bulldogs. It's Coach Chad Rogers. Coach, first and foremost, hello. I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while. Been a minute.
Probably, I think the last time I saw you in person was when we were doing Sherman Denison for Fox, or then Fox, now Valley.
Yeah, it was.
Well, you're not at Denison anymore.
No.
You've made the move over to Tioga. I think that there are probably some people, myself included, who want to know why. Why was this the move for you to go from Denison to a program that's still getting its feet underneath it in Tioga?
Yeah, and I've had a lot of friends call. And, you do a lot of research, not just on the job, but you talk to friends that have gone from bigger schools to smaller schools, and a lot of them were just really excited. Matt Green at Atlanta is doing a fantastic job. He's been a resource of mine, and just what's going on. Chris Ross and I talk all the time, and you talk about that. And then my son, going through COVID, 2A actually started later. So I went to some 2A games, 3A games, and honestly, my wife and I are sitting there in the stands, and she asked me, why didn't you ever coach in a smaller school like this? And I said, I don't know. I said, we will sometime. And then the look I got was the look at when you look at the milk carton at the expiration date. So she looks at me like checking that expiration date, and I look back. I thought, well, maybe I need to. If that's something we want to do, then let's start looking at it. And the Tioga job came open. Coach Patton had done a fantastic job. He took a superintendent's job in West Texas. The more I dug into it, there's no roadblocks.
Yeah.
There's not. Denison's been doing football 122 years. There's a lot of things that you need to continue to do in Denison, no matter a lot of traditions that need to be upheld and things of that. They're just not set in Tioga yet. So we get to do that. We get to build something. And it's not just a new school, but it's a new school in an old town. So it has a lot of tradition in the town itself. So
it is such a unique, almost singular program in that regard, in the sense that, you think of like new school, like you think of teams that start playing football, you're thinking, okay, it's a multi-school ISD that's opening a new school.
Correct. Yes.
Whereas Tioga, the school's been around plenty.
Right.
The community's been around plenty. It's just they're starting the football. And so I guess, how do you, what's priority one as far as like helping to establish, the tradition that I know you hold yourself to, the standard that you hold yourself to, and I know the standard that you hold your programs to. What's the first step in kind of establishing that standard?
The first thing that I want to do is get in there and build relationships, hire a staff, evaluate. Then we start raising the standard. And I learned, an old coach that I worked for told he would tell stories, and I love to tell stories to our kids too, but he told a lot of frog stories, and he said if you turn the hot water up real hot and you throw the frogs in, they're going to jump right out. You got to slowly raise the standard. So we set the standard. We tell them what's acceptable, not acceptable, and then we slowly keep raising our work ethic. And that's what we're doing. Our strength has gone, and part of that is I'm not trying to take credit for it. Part of it's COVID, coming off of COVID. They got 9 starters back on offense, 9 starters coming back on defense, so they're going to be better anyway. You throw in the weight program that we're doing, you throw in the summer program that the kids have bought into, we're going to be a lot better. But we've gotten a lot stronger, so we hit the weight room and doing it the right way, and implementing the offense. But the staff, 95% of the kids are the coaches, they're kids, they played for me or they worked for me before. So that's unique too, is looking out there and having a coaches meeting and then seeing them snicker, or when I'll start getting on to a kid, then they'll start snickering in the background. So it's been a lot of fun. It's kind of rejuvenated me. You're just not fit into, okay, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to do, because there are some times that I have a plan and then it's just not going to work. We've got to jump ship and do another plan and adjust, and the kids take off. And like I said, each day's been, every day I go to work, it's just been a lot of fun, just something new. So.
Well, and speaking of new, has there been something that has happened that some sort of situation you've come across wherein you would handle it one way as a 5A or 6A guy, and you just realize that this is just totally different here at the small school level?
Yeah, a lot of things, and it's made me our kids. Well, there was one week I was thinking, hey, we're going to put in the offense this week. I'm going to put in this, and this. I had it scripted. I have it all planned out. Well, our quarterback was gone on Tuesday. He's playing baseball, so he missed the off. And then on Wednesday he went to a tennis tournament. And then on Friday he was fishing. Because he's a state qualified. So our kids are doing a lot of stuff. So then the kid's gone on Monday for golf. So they're very well-rounded athletes, but I've had to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is the day that we have to work this. And what I found is I've had to teach a little bit different. I love reps and I love positive reps, and you got to do it right. But I've had to say, okay, we're going to do this, but I need total concentration because we're only going to do it twice. So there's been a lot of that, which has been good for me. I believe that I always keep learning. I try to learn something every day, something new. I try to engulf myself in a weakness that I have in the summertime and study stuff and study different coaches. And so I've been able to call some friends that are doing that and use what they do. Shane at March, a really good friend of mine, and I've got some ideas from them. If what they do is obviously successful. So, and we don't want to be just good in football. We offer tennis, we offer golf. So we want to be good in all of it. So to do that, there's just not enough time in the day to get it all done. So I've had to adjust some of that.
Let's talk about your 2021 Bulldogs. You mentioned this is a team that's got experience coming back. They were pretty young last year. They took some lumps, and a lot of it was just being a young team and still a young program. Do you have a feeling quite yet in working with your kids of where this team's going to hang their hat, what this team's going to be about in 2021?
Well, every team I've ever coached and I've asked that question is we're going to be physical.
Yeah.
So that's been our thing that we have to. When I stepped in front of them, I'd watch the videos, and I said our mentality has to change. We're no longer going to be the nail. We're going to be the hammer. And I told them I'm going to publicly say that. So when I say that, then that means you got to go out and do it and prove me right. So, the hammer doesn't get hurt. The hammer doesn't. It's the nail takes the effect of the hammer. I understand it all, but that's what we've been. They're going to have to be more physical because it's a physical game. So that, and we're going to go back to be option oriented. You talked about what was the biggest changes. Was 7-on-7 was a big change because we did have we'll have 50 kids that are signed up to play football, which is a large number for a 2A school. So 7-on-7 was different. How you cover, how you don't cover. These guys are so much better than this guy. Did we catch a lot of passes? Well, we hadn't done a lot of 7-on-7, so they didn't know 7-on-7, so there's a lot of that stuff was big changes and how do you adjust. Just got to get out there and have fun, and that's what we've done a lot of. So
finally, I've left the most important question for last, which is, what does Mrs. Rogers think of small town living?
This is what's pretty cool. Was when she graduated from high school, she was salutatorian, and she wasn't in the top 10% of her class.
So this is homecoming for her.
Yeah. So we got 3 restaurants in Tioga. When she grew up, she lived out on a ranch in Tucumcari, New Mexico. So drive 50 miles to go to a restaurant. So this is like the metropolis to her. So she doesn't. And in fact, just south of us 20 miles, you're into Prosper. I mean, and Crossroads and Denton's right there. It's all exploding. So, I mean, everything's right there that you got it. But she loves a small town. I grew up in a small town. It's just been weird, not weird, but my career started off in a very large 6A school in New Mexico. Then I went to Snyder, and we were balancing between 4A and 3A at that time, and then to Denison, and then back to Tioga. So, I mean, I haven't moved around a lot in 32 years. So.
Well, listen, that means you're pretty good at your job.
I guess it's still a work in progress. I'm still learning. So.
Coach, congratulations on the new gig. We're really excited to see what you do out there and appreciate your time.
Yeah, appreciate it. You guys come see us.
Well.
We got a great barbecue place.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip here on YouTube. If you like this kind of stuff and you want more of it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, you can watch us live every weekday at noon at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, or here on YouTube. And if you want more of the best coverage of football in the state of Texas, check out TexasFootball.com and become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe.